Most people judge a leg raise by how high your feet go. Instead, watch my belt line. In some reps, your legs are moving, your back is arching, your pelvis is all over the place. In others, your pelvis will stay controlled and curl towards your rib. Both reps will lift your legs, but only one of them is actually going to hit your abs. By the end of this video, you'll know how to spot the difference, why you don't want to put your hands underneath your butt for a leg raise, and how to progress the difficulty as you get better. Feeling your hip flexors during a leg raise isn't necessarily wrong. They're going to be working. Your hip flexors act to lift your legs towards your torso. However, your abs don't actually lift your legs. Your abs control your trunk and pelvis, and they curl your pelvis towards your ribs. So don't worry about never feeling it in your hip flexors. Instead, focus on keeping the pelvis controlled and moving it towards your ribs. Ideally, you can just keep your hip flexors locked at one angle, and the movement of your legs comes from your pelvis moving while this angle doesn't change. If your back starts to arch and your pelvis rolls forward, that usually means you're moving into a zone that is too difficult for your abs to handle right now. Lowering farther is not a bonus, and it's probably just going to be the kind of rep that gives you back pain, especially if you already have a back problem. Also, there's no separate lower ab muscle. The divisions of your abs just come from the fascia between them. Your fascia also determines how your abs look. As you can see, mine are all sorts of messed up. If I pull my pecs up, I have like 5 on one side. I don't even know, but it's nothing to worry about and nothing you can change, so don't fret. Exercises can shift regional activity, but the main thing to focus on is just controlling the pelvis toward the rib cage crunching motion. Putting your hands under your butt. It's not automatically dangerous and it doesn't make your set worthless, but what it does do is create this big wedge to tilt your pelvis up and create a way for your abs to go silent while your legs just keep moving. That wedge supports your pelvis and lets you just hang out in the end range. The problem is treating that supported end range as proof that you can do it without the support. If you deliberately use it as a regression or way to work up to a leg raise, that's fine, but make sure you progress your way out of it. Using your hand under your butt is not where you want to stay. That being said, you do have cleaner options to progress as well. For example, you can start with an assisted sit-up, then you can move to some sort of bent knee leg raise, then you can do it with one leg straight, and then finally move to both legs straight. But I do want to make it clear that the floor is not a finish line. Your effective range for where you're at ends when you can no longer control your pelvis. Here's a way you can test to see what level you're at and which progression variation you should start with. Lie down on your back with your knees at about 90 degrees. Exhale and bring your belt buckle towards your ribs. Then curl your tailbone off the floor about an inch or two without throwing your knees up or pushing super hard through your arms. If you can't create that small curl, then start with the band assisted method. If you can't get your feet off the floor with your knees bent, then try straightening your legs slowly, or straighten one leg at a time and slowly lower back down until you lose control of your pelvis. Losing control of your pelvis basically just means your back is arching and your lower back has come off the floor. Feeling your hip flexors burning is a sign that they're probably doing a lot of work, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. The main thing that you want to look for is check yourself from the side with a video and see where your back, hips, and pelvis are. What does your form look like? What's your speed like? And where do you lose control? Any sharp back pain or numbness or tingling or something that weirdly lingers past doing this exercise is a good sign that you should do a regression, do some different exercise, or find some sort of personalized healthcare that's going to address your problem specifically. If you're new to ab exercises in general, don't start by just throwing your legs into the air. One of the easiest or most accessible versions for people of all shapes and sizes is the band assisted sit-up. I use this progression all the time when people struggle with either sit-ups or leg raises to begin to show people how to actually activate their core and curl up one vertebrae at a time. Anchor a band or a towel to something that cannot move and that is long enough to reach between your legs. Lie facing the anchor with the band or towel going between your legs, then reach down, grab a hold of it, and use that to pull yourself up during the sit-up. Exhale, bring the ribs down towards the pelvis, and lift the shoulder blades off the ground and bring your vertebrae up one at a time. A good rep is smooth. No yanking, no momentum, no whipping your head around, and you can always use more or less tension depending on what you need. Gradually use less assistance as you get better at it, and eventually you won't need it at all. And be sure you check the anchor before each set so it doesn't snap on you. All right, next we got level 1, and that's just a leg raise with your knees bent. Start with an exhale and sink the ribs down, press the back into the floor, and curl your hips up just a little bit off. It's just going to be what's called a reverse crunch, and it's a small movement. The pelvis rolls towards the ribs, pauses, and then reverses. If you find yourself flinging your knees to use momentum to get up, then reduce the range of motion, make it a little bit easier on yourself. Once 10 reps are clean, slow the lowering phase to make it a little bit more difficult, and then you're ready to move on to the next progression. At level 2, we are going to bend one leg and straighten the other. Now, I personally like this version quite a bit. It's very easy to progress because you can use your own leg as a measuring stick. Basically, you bend one leg and place it on top of the other, and then as you get better and better, you move it further and further down until you end up with both legs straight. Because you're using your own leg as the measuring stick, you can be consistent to know exactly where you were last time. The same sort of cues as the bent knee leg raise or reverse crunch are the same ones here that will tell you if you are doing a good rep. At level 3, straighten both legs. That longer lever is going to be more difficult. Again, only lower as far as you can while you still have control over your pelvis. We don't want that lower back to come up and pinch and cause pain or whatever else. You're not just trying to point your feet at the ceiling. You can do that without using your abs at all. Your goal is to curl the pelvis up while your legs are straight. A good rep doesn't need your heels to touch the floor, and if the reps start to fall apart, you can always just move back to an easier version and use that to finish out your set. It's almost like a drop set when you're using weights and you go from a 15 to a 10 to finish the reps. And once you can do it with straight legs, then you can try with ankle weights or with a band around your ankles or anything else that you can find to make it harder. Another version is to move to hanging leg raises, but that's a whole nother beast, and I want this video to just be about lying leg raise variations. I'll make another video about hanging leg raises if I get people in the comments asking about it, but for now, we're doing the lying leg raise. Now let's talk about changing the difficulty a bit more precisely. You've really got 4 things. You've got the lever length, you've got the tempo of the rep or how long it takes you to do it, you've got the full range of motion that you're actually doing with your abs, and you've got any sort of external support like hands under your butt. Bend or straighten the knees. Stop the legs earlier or let them go a little farther, depending on what you can control. Use your hand under your butt or some sort of band to provide additional support. And try slowing the lowering phase or pausing at the hardest point. Change one variable at a time, see what you like, and progress on your own in the way that's best for you. You basically want to find a variation that is challenging for you to do 6 to 10 reps, somewhere where if you try to do more than that, your form is going to start to fall apart. Once you can repeat that level for 2 or 3 sets without the form falling apart, then increase the variable that you want to increase and make it a little harder. If your back starts arching and your pelvis is dropping, or you find yourself kicking your legs up or pushing hard through your arms, then find the level that actually works for you instead of just pretending that you're at that level. So next time you do leg raises, stop watching your feet, film yourself from the side or have somebody look at you, check the belt line, see if your pelvis is curling, control the tempo, and do the reps correctly. The hip flexors move the legs, so your hip flexors will still feel something, but if you do all these other pieces correctly, your abs are going to be crying. Pick a version that you can do that does both cleanly. You can save this progression, tell me what level you're at, and if the honest answer is you're at level 0 and you need a band to assist you up, that's totally fine. I would much rather you be at level 0, be honest about it, use the band, and progress forward than pretend you're at the straight leg level and you're gonna hurt your back and not be able to do a rep properly and just train your hip flexors. It's better to be honest about where you're at than it is to stall progress for your ego. But now you have somewhere useful to start. Hopefully this video was helpful, and ta-ta for now.